thanks for coming on the show, Luis.
Thank you for having me. My honor and privilege.
Yeah, it's really nice to take a break talking about divisive American politics to talk about what is going on. There's aliens?
Well, first of all, we don't call them aliens anymore. That's kind of a politically incorrect term. We call
they're
them,
woke. The aliens are woke.
We now call them in the Pentagon NHI, non-human intelligence.
Okay, maybe we should probably give people your bona fides a bit. You were in intelligence and counterintelligence.
Right. Yeah, so after college, I spent some time, I went into the United States Army, spent some time in military intelligence, and then from there I was recruited into some special activity programs where I became a special agent in counterintelligence, investigating terrorism and espionage. And in 2009, early 2009, I was brought in to run counterintelligence for that program, what is now known as ATIP, the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program, and later on, I wound up being one of its senior members. Right.
So you are a military man, a veteran. You are intelligence officer, counterintelligence officer, a grown adult. By your own words, you're also a fact-based person. You've said that in interviews.
But I'm also proof that you don't have to be intelligent to be an intelligence.
Well, no, I wouldn't go that far.
Let me just put that out there.
Okay, well, let me put this out there. What the is going on with these aliens? There's aliens? So what is alien? What's going on? There's aliens? What is this?
So the U.S. government for many decades has been investing a lot of taxpayer money looking into this topic here. And it turns out that there are absolutely technologies that are coming into our controlled U.S. airspace over our sensitive military installations, may have the ability to interfere with our nuclear equities. And yeah, it's real. And not only are pilots picking it up and reporting it, also we've got on electro-optical data like gun camera footage, FLIR footage, and also radar data. And it's not just here. It looks like it's pretty pervasive all over the world now.
So what? There's aliens. There's aliens. Aliens on Earth right now, and they're doing shit. What are they doing?
Depending on how you put those two words together, I'm not sure they're necessarily.
No, you can't hear me. Yo, they're aliens come. Okay, so what are they doing? What are they doing here? What are they doing?
So it appears that they're very interested in our technology. We don't know yet. I want to be very clear here.
Why? They came here. They don't want to look at my iPhone 16.
No, but
they got shit that flew across the stars. They don't care about.
They are very interested in our military equities and capabilities, and also our nuclear technology. And I think what was most compelling is that in some cases you had literally near misses of U.S. combat aircraft coming within 15 feet of these objects. In some cases, literally splitting a combat formation right down the middle. These are things that can do things that none of our vehicles can replicate. Their performance capabilities are far beyond anything that we have. And quite frankly, there's not a whole lot we can do about it right now.
So beyond a shadow of a doubt, you've seen the evidence there are aliens.
Oh, the government's already come out. Look, you have a former director of national intelligence, a former director of CIA, a former president of the United States, all coming out and saying officially, yeah, there's something to this. I mean, these things look like they are definitely interested in our stuff. And furthermore, when the government first came out with their new UFO program called Arrow, their first report said, yeah, there's 143 of these incidents, but we expect these numbers to go down as we figure them out. The next report that came out, there was over 300. The next report, there's now over 800. So the number's increasing, not decreasing.
Okay, so why is this getting buried in the cycle or something? Because Donald Trump says, I hate Taylor Swift, so we just never see this stuff? Because we mean presidents, the government has said these things are around, and
yeah, therein lies the problem. It's a bureaucracy. Look, the men and women, fine men and women of the Pentagon and the U.S. government do incredible work. And most of the time, we are a lot better off as a society because of their professionalism. Unfortunately, in this particular case, the bureaucracy was a problem. We continued to try to get alarm bells up to the Secretary of Defense over and over again, but there was this layer of these proverbial Praetorian guards that didn't want to tell the Secretary of Defense that we were spending taxpayer money looking into these things, and oh, by the way, it turns out they're real.
Okay, are you, with all due respect, is there any chance that you are accidentally describing the synopsis to Independence Day? Because that's the movie. That was in the movie. They couldn't get to the dude because they wouldn't listen.
I hope
so
not.
You're telling me aliens are going to take over because of U.S. government bureaucracy?
Well, I certainly hope that's not the case. I think, when we look at this issue here, this has been going on for decades. This has been going on since the late 1940s. Now, when I say that, people go, wait a minute. You talking about Roswell? Was Roswell real?
Was Roswell real?
It was, absolutely.
Okay, so what was at Roswell?
There was a crash. It was a vehicle that had broken into two pieces, and it was recovered by the United States government, taken to a secure military installation, and then from there it went out to certain locations. What is in that book, I'm allowed to talk about. That went through the Pentagon review process, so I am legally able to talk about it. There are things that I'm still not yet allowed to talk about.
What are those things? Tell us those things. That sounds like...
Well, let's see here. I do not look good in an orange jumpsuit, so I got to be very careful.
Yeah, you're going to look good in the whatever jumpsuit the aliens put on you? We better be... It sounds like we're battling aliens and bureaucracy here. Can we... Yeah. I don't know if we can fight a two-front war on this. Can we choose a side to fight here?
I think I'd prefer to fight aliens if I had to choose between bureaucracy and aliens, to be honest with you.
But, okay, so in the book, you say that, and by the way, I mean, I read the book, and it's a very, it's a page turner. It's very well written. It's easy to follow. In it, you say, like, the best case scenario right now is that aliens are a national security threat.
Issue. Because to determine if something is a threat, it's really a very simple calculus. It's capabilities versus intent. Now, we've seen some of the capabilities. We still have no idea the intent. So therefore, we don't know if it's a threat. But let me give you a very quick analogy here. You probably live in a great, lovely area, just like your audience here. Do you lock your door at night?
I live in New York City, so no, not really.
Do you lock your front door?
There's aliens here right now in New York City, as you can see. Yeah, I do lock my front door.
So, and most people do. And let's say you lock your windows and you turn on your alarm. Let's say one Sunday morning you come downstairs to have a hot cup of coffee or tea, and despite your doors being locked and your window and your alarm on, there's now size 12 muddy boot prints in your living room floor, in your carpet that weren't there the night before. Now, no one's been hurt, nothing's out of place, but despite you doing all this other stuff and locking doors and making sure the alarm's on, there are now footprints in your living room carpet that weren't there the night before. My question to you is that a threat? And so my response is, from a national security perspective, I was wearing my national security hat, it could be if it wanted to be, so we probably should figure out how it's getting into the house.
We should probably move at that point. We should probably get out of that apartment. There's boot prints. They're still walking around.
So these things we are encountering them over controlled U.S. airspace, like I said, over sensitive military installations. And so from a national security perspective, we've got to figure out what these things are.
No shit. We got to figure out what's going. You see, you're saying you're being very professional, you're being very technical, and you're being very calm as an intelligence officer, and then you're saying there's aliens here that we don't know what they want. What should people take away from this? There's aliens and what?
Well,
fire when you see shoot on sight? What should we do?
No, don't do that. I would recommend not doing that. I think what people need to know right now, the U.S. government is taking this topic very seriously. There's several pieces of legislation that are going through Congress right now. There are members in both the House and the Senate that have been briefed by whistleblowers on this topic, people who have been part of certain efforts, UAP efforts in the past.
You sure it's not getting mixed up with the Border Act, right? Because when you say aliens, I don't think they really know which ones you're talking about.
Well, yeah, you have illegal aliens, and then you've got
illegal aliens. You got some other...
right. Right.
So there's acts coming up. There's legislation. What legislating against intergalactic aliens?
Well, I think the idea is to open the door for whistleblowers to come out and be able to have a protected conversation with Congress, so Congress can then have a conversation with the American people. I think that's really what this is about. And certainly I think there's certain people in... By the way, for the first time, this is a bipartisan issue. You've got both liberals and conservatives on the Hill, can you believe it, of all things, UAP, right?
No, see, that's the most far-fetched thing you've said.
I know, right.
It's just great. That is not.
Who would have thought?
I'll believe aliens, but there's no way these guys are working together.
They are. I swear to God. I can't say who they are, but their names have already been, I think, in the press quite a bit. But on both sides, they are taking this topic very seriously. A lot of these folks have military backgrounds.
Why don't they just let it out? Just let the news out. Well, just tell people. Just show them the photo of the alien selfie with the president, and then let's get it out there and let's handle it.
We've spent many decades backing ourselves into a corner on this conversation. And the government has said publicly what its position is. Now it's in a situation where it's having to unwind that conversation and say, look, folks, we haven't always been completely forthcoming and truthful with you, and that's a hard conversation to have.
What are you talking about? There's aliens. Have the conversation. There's aliens. There's aliens. There's aliens. I don't want. All right. Well, can we stop them?
Well, I don't know. I mean, that's not a question for me. That's a question for
It's kind of a
leaders.
question for you. I think you're the only one who can, because it sounds like your attitude also seems to be like, yeah, they're here. I've seen them. They have capabilities beyond our understanding, and nothing much we can do about it. So, keep watching Paramount Plus. And I don't know what we're supposed to do about this now.
I think, look, I personally think Americans can handle the truth about this topic. I think it is. I mean, we can joke a lot about it, but the reality is that these things, whatever they are, wherever they're from,
aliens.
this is real.
Yeah.
So,
these are real? All right.
yeah, it's real. Whatever it is.
Okay, well, is there a chance that if the government tells people aliens are real and shows them, we'll unite together in a global effort to defeat them and maybe call it side out?
There was a famous speech by Reagan back in the 80s where he
By
said,
Bill Pullman in Independence Day.
and him. Yeah, that's right. Where they said that if the truth of this came out, it would probably unite the world. But
Yo, we need it now. Let's go, aliens! Aliens, let's go now. This is the time.
The reality is,
This is the time. We got a lot of shit going down now. Aliens, come. Aliens. I'm down for aliens now. Okay.
if we look, uniting Congress is already a big enough challenge. Let's get these folks on the same sheet of music. Let's get the briefings they need, and then let them have a conversation with their constituents.
You're talking about paperwork. I'm talking about aliens.
Okay, but the government survives off of paperwork. It is a bureaucracy, unfortunately. So we have to look. I've always said there's a right way to do things, and then you can do also it right now. But they're not necessarily the same thing. Doing things right and right now may not be, the same thing.
What do you mean? There's aliens, and you want to go through bureaucracy and try to unite Congress before you can fight the aliens? No, fight the aliens. Get the aliens out.
I think there's opportunity here. In the last 7 years, I think we've come further on this conversation than we have the last 70. There are elements now in the government that want this conversation to occur. They want the American people to know, look, this is the worst kept secret at this point, probably in the U.S. government. It's pathetic. The fact that so many people now in our militaries, our intelligence communities, have even in some cases come up close and personal with these things.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Okay, this is crazy. Anyway, Imminent is available. Imminent is available now. I wish we could talk for hours about this thing, but Luis Elizondo, everybody.